Okay, so this book, Complex PTSD, it is a workbook for complex PTSD, and it's really cool. It's really good. It's helped me a lot. It's by Arielle Schwartz, Mind-Body Approach to Regaining Emotional Control and Becoming Whole, which my last video on complex PTSD basically goes into intro to what it is and why it matters if you're somebody who is wanting to gain more control and become whole. Yeah, so it's been really difficult going through this, honestly, because the way that she kind of winds you down this vortex of introspection, and like I mentioned, the shadow work is really important if we're going to manifest from love, and if we're going to have that really stable launch point for where we're headed. And this is really helpful in getting out of survival mode if you have any of the symptoms. I believe it's cognitive, emotional, behavioral, or physiological symptoms. So that can be, restlessness or anxiety. There's actually a spectrum in here that I found to be really helpful in kind of discerning where I should be focused more. Let's see if I can, this right here: shame, powerlessness, and depression. And then over here we have panic, anxiety, and hypervigilance. So she kind of talks about how we ebb from these different spectrums and how we can lean more towards one, but really where we want to be is this in the center, this centric, emotionally regulated person where we're aware of our emotions, we can handle them with grace, and we can really not distract ourselves. That's a huge thing. I feel like humans, especially in the Western world, we spend so much time distracting ourselves from the things we need to work on, which really is pretty infinitesimal. Like, in my experience with what I was drawn to this workbook about, the different traumatic experiences that I've had that left me in a very limiting, distorted place, self-perception, and as far as perceiving others and the safety in the world. Still kind of working out the kinks on that, but as she says in this book, normal adaptation, the CPTSD is a normal adaptation to non-normal life conditions in somebody's experience or somebody's history. So she talks a lot about the childhood messages that were sent, what we watched as children as normal in both the world and then in our homes, with our families and parents. There's so much. It's just so good. But on the spectrum, I know that there's people who have been through absolute heinous, atrocious, awful things. And then there are some people who have maybe some light anxiety. But I think that this would be beneficial for all people who notice those symptoms, whether or not, when it comes to diagnoses, I'm not a professional, and I do not currently go to a therapy. That's something that I definitely would like to do in the future. Just not quite there yet. But she talks about the distraction mechanism. So we avoid things, we distract ourselves. What are we distracting ourselves from and with, and how can we kind of modulate our response to that? So the whole book is so loving. She really takes you one step at a time into these deeper elements of yourself, where it's like noticing the symptoms and then having loving awareness and acceptance for them, and then following those symptoms down to beliefs and your thoughts, and then also how your body is feeling, like the whole psychosomatic bridge here, where we can see if we're not fully aware, which I know a lot of people who have complex PTSD or have had it, there's like this disconnect with your body and your mind. There's this disconnect with your emotions and with your feelings to a point where it can be really difficult sometimes to even feel grounded and feel stable in your own body. It's like, feels very weird sometimes. But doing this in tandem with meditation and affirmations, kind of rewiring as we're unwiring, is really important, because you have to add things. Like, you can't just take things away. It doesn't really work that way. You can't just, no, it's all gone. You kind of have to follow the symptom to the belief, prove to your brain why that is an impractical belief and how there are alternative beliefs that would render a much more enjoyable somatic visceral experience. And through that reduction and survival mode, our true self can arise more, our intuition, our humor, our good feelings. And through that, you know, we can assess what we want more of and then work towards that, and the beliefs that would render that in our experience. So it's all about raising the energy and understanding what the heck is going on. And when you've had certain traumatic experiences and you have such a distorted, patterned belief system of self and other, it can be very overwhelming. But there are resources, and I would definitely recommend this workbook. Thank you.